This is 8 Minutes of Awesome. I'm Jennifer Lipsky. Katie Chamberlain is a yogi, writer, and artist who feels that our actions and beliefs have widespread cultural implications. What we do and how we do it affects us and our world. Joining me today is Katie Chamberlain. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Absolutely. I'd like you to, first off the bat, tell us about, there's a quote that I've seen that you like to use. It's kind of a quote that you've taken on personally. Can you share that quote with us and what it means to you?
Sure. The quote that you're referring to is, "The things that make me different are the things that make me." And that is a quotation from Milne, who is the author of the Winnie the Pooh stories. I like this quotation because it reminds me that being different is what makes you your own person. And it's easy to forget that being in this huge world with all these other people, that you are special and you are unique. And you know, being a typical millennial American person, I like to think that I'm special and different, but I think everyone should feel special and different. And that means you can inspire yourself to follow your own path and not necessarily do what other people are doing. The American dream, if you will, the house, the minivan, 2.2 kids, soccer mom. It doesn't have to be for you unless you want it. And that's what I try to remind myself.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. We are all special and different and dynamic. And professionally, you are very dynamic. You have a lot of really wonderful things going on in your life, including with your work as a yogi. You have Katie Did Yoga. Tell us a little bit about that and how you came to that path, that journey.
Absolutely. KatyDidYoga is something I'm very excited about. In fact, it is my very new business. I am a previous entrepreneur. I'm an attorney. I had my own law office in rural Illinois, which was very different than living in downtown Chicago, where I live now. And after leaving the legal profession for health reasons and to plan my wedding, I decided to complete yoga teacher training and become a yoga instructor. I've been doing yoga off and on for about 10 years. Um, Only now I feel like I'm really growing in a yoga practice in terms of actually linking breath to movement, in terms of actually being able to try more advanced poses, and then bringing that yoga state of mind into your everyday life. And I thought, well, I've started one business, I want to start another one. So I'm going to initially begin Katie Did Yoga as what we call a mobile yoga business. I can teach on site in condos, corporate settings, like law firms, for example, because lawyers need to relax, and also in yoga studios. So I'm hopeful that this summer and this fall I can grow my business. I just got my logo design today, and I just got my business bank account last Friday, so it's official.
Oh, that is really exciting. All those pieces when they start to come together, it is really, really exciting. And the idea of mobile yoga is excellent because I myself, for many, many years, practiced yoga. But it's so easy to say, "Oh, I just don't have the time. I have other things going on in my life, and I just can't get
Right.
there." So for you to go to them is really great, and certainly will help people get into that space more easily. Right.
It's exciting. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I think that you have to just start small and let it build brick by brick. My yoga empire won't happen overnight. So
Building a strong
I'll be,
foundation, very, very important. And it sounds like you've
yes.
started that, which is great. And we have joys and challenges, all of us, each day. And it sounds like, there have been a lot of joys in recent days for you, but I'm sure there have been challenges as well. And with challenges come vulnerability. So I'm wondering, when do you feel you're most vulnerable, and how do you manage through those tough times?
I feel my most vulnerable, I think, in two different ways. One is self imposed, when I get into my own head. I can sit and talk about a yoga lifestyle all I want, but that doesn't mean that I don't psych myself out. I don't doubt myself. I don't loop and fret and worry and lie awake at night thinking ridiculous things. So one of the things I try to do is remain a little calmer. I tend to have a fairly active mind, which is a benefit and a curse at the same time. I really sometimes have to remind myself to slow down, sort of physically and mentally. So that's one way I can overcome that vulnerability. And the other vulnerability is outside of me. It's the world, I guess, at large. It's that unpredictability of your life. Um, I've been very lucky not to have so many insurmountable challenges in my life, but last year my mother became ill and I was so frightened. I'd never been that frightened in my entire life. We truly thought we were going to lose her. And I felt different after that experience. And it made me think about how fragile our health really is. And I sit around now like an old woman at night drinking tea, sort of griping, kids these days don't appreciate what they have. But I truly think, again, that vulnerability opened me up to the opportunity to be grateful and also to make some big changes like quitting my law job to spend more time with her, to spend more time on my own health, and to do something I've wanted to do for so long that I just said, oh, I'll do that later. Well, later is right now because I don't know what's going to happen later.
Right, right. Thank you for sharing that personal information, and it's something that I'm sure a lot of people will be able to, really relate to. And it's interesting that it brought you to this path of changing what you were doing professionally, making changes to, your lifestyle, your thought process about, that kind of vulnerability and gratitude and everything. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm interested also, you said that sometimes, you need to kind of go within yourself and kind of calm down, quiet down that space inside. Can you give people a tip or two in what you do yourself and how to achieve that kind of stillness?
Absolutely. I sometimes the best thing for me is to just stop whatever it is I'm doing and do something else. If I'm thinking about something, I stop and I literally try to remove myself to a new physical space. So if I'm at home, I spend a lot of time in my condo now. I move to a different room, I open up a book, I make a cup of tea, I light a candle. This is what I usually do, but not everybody is working at home, not everybody has a candle to light. So mostly, I think the most important thing is to shut your eyes and just try to breathe.
Hmm.
It sounds a little cliche, but just breathe through it. That helps me a lot. And
Yeah,
then you learn that on your yoga mat, and
yeah,
you can take that off the mat with you, the breath, and just close your eyes for a minute.
yeah.
But I'm a big fan of a cup of tea and a stick of incense as well. So
Yeah, me too. I have some incense burning right now, actually. Um, yeah, absolutely. All of those things can be really good for just helping to kind of reset. But you're totally right.
yes,
The one thing that you have, no matter where you are, no matter what the circumstance, is going back to your breath.
yes.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. Thank you. And
And some
yeah, and I'd like to just wrap up this conversation with what message it is that other people have to hear. What is the one thing that you want to share that others really need to know right now?
From my own personal experience, I have learned that making big changes only takes time, money, and paperwork. It doesn't kill you. Sometimes people let themselves become complacent. Maybe it's in a job, maybe it's in a relationship. And you just have to really decide, am I worth the fear and the unknown to make this change? And there's nothing honestly that you can't fix and if you're willing to do it. And I think that's the message I would want to share. You should always be willing to give yourself the chance and to say you're worth the effort to make the change.
Yeah, that is really strong, very powerful, and I agree with you. I think there's anything can be overcome if we um, take away the things that block us from it.
Yes. And usually it's yourself.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. We have to get ourselves out of the way. Yeah,
yes,
exactly right. Great,
absolutely.
great message. Thank you so much. And for people that would like to reach out and connect with Katy personally, you can do that at her KatyDidYoga.com website. Katy Chamberlain, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. This was fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thank you.